Hi, I'm Ellie, and this is your weekly theatre news recap. The show that I give you the news and I give it to you within the allotted time. Mainly because, wow, I need to leave really, really soon, and I have to film this video and get it up in time before I leave. So let's just keep going. But if you want to stay up to date with UK theatre, I recap it for you every week, really chaotically. It's the only way I know how. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss these. I do these every single week. I already said that. I'm running out of time. Let's just keep going. Okay, casting. We always start with casting news on this channel, on this show, and we have a couple of interesting stories for you. This week, we're in the kind of lull season for theatre news. You kind of see like towards the end of August, like summer is kind of like a quiet month, you know. All the shows are focusing on big flashy summer things, and this is information you don't need. Why am I telling you this? Basically, it's quiet news season. It will get busier in September, so maybe next week we will be bombarded with news. But let's start with Six. We have a new queen joining the current cast of Six in the West End, and she is no stranger to this crown. It is Caitlin Tipping, who previously played the role of Jane Seymour on tour, is now reprising the role at the Vaudeville Theatre. This is really exciting. I hope to see her soon. I want to go back to Six. I've already broken my streak. I had, before the start of this year, seen Six times. I have now broken that. I have seen Six 7 times, which doesn't feel as fun. So now I need to see it 12 times, so it's at least like going up in intervals of 6. And talking of Six, we have the cast for Cake, which is going to the other palace. We know that Zizi Stralin and Renee Lamb are both going to be reprising their roles, but joining the cast will be Millie O'Connell, who was the original Anne Boleyn in the West End cast of Six. Obviously, we also know that Renee Lamb was also in the cast of Six, is on the original cast album for Six. There's a lot of Six links to this. But also reprising their role from the concert and the tour last year of Cake is Travis Ross. They've also recently been in Cabaret, really excited to see them back. They're a really fun part of that show. O'Connell will be playing Nicole, and Ross will be playing the Cardinal. We also have an ensemble who will be in the description down below. Cake is going to run at the Other Palace from the 13th of September to the 10th of November, so we get to have a slice very, very soon. The cake puns that I can make when I talk about this show, oh, I'm going to make them all. I can't wait. And we have 2 plays to talk about before we move on. See, I'm going to get through this so easily. There's so little editing I have to do. I haven't screwed up 50 million times already. It's fine. I'm doing well. Waiting for Godot. We already know most of the cast for Waiting for Godot. Right now, this week, we've been given some child casting and a couple of understudies, who are Luca Phone, Alexander Joseph, and Ellis Pang, who are sharing the role of the boy, and the understudies who will be in the description down below. Very exciting. It's a very weird show, Waiting for Godot. Maybe I'll see it. I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's very like absurdist, and you know, absurdist theatre is very hit and miss for me. But I think maybe this could be a hit. And finally, we have Juno and the Peacock. So, joining the previously announced Mark Rylance and J. Smith Cameron will be Paul Hilton, Aislinn Kearns, Eamon Fitzgerald Doherty, Ingrid Craigie, Anna Healy, Chris Wally, Sean Duggan, Leo Hanna, Jessica Servey, Kayla McCarthy, Brian Moriarty, John Rice, and Jacinta White. Those were a lot of Irish names that I have probably mispronounced so badly that everyone who is Irish watching is just curled up in shame for me. I'm so sorry to the entire country of Ireland. Juno and the Peacock is heading to the Gilga Theatre this autumn. It looks really interesting. I'm quite into the style of this. I love the new artwork they've released and the photos they've released of Rylance and Cameron. They look great, and I have to go and see it. That's all your casting news this week. Congratulations, we made it through 5 minutes into this video. Oh, we're doing so swimmingly. Okay, concerts. There's only one to talk about this week, and it is Riddles and Romance. And we have some really exciting West End names for this concert, which is going to the Underbelly Boulevard on the 30th of September. This is a concert which is going to showcase the work of composer Clive Richards Davies, with all of the proceeds from tickets going to Parkinson's UK. So a great cause. This will also feature songs from Davis's upcoming musical project, The Three Riddles, where the riddles comes in the title of Riddles and Romance. But what is very exciting about this is the cast, because leading this concert is the amazing Kerry Ellis, who you know from Wicked, who you know from Anything Goes. And also joining Ellis will be the amazing Rob Houchen, Jack Pallister, Sharon Rucroft, Henrik Firth, and Wendy Carr. So this is really exciting. I love the Underbelly Boulevard. I've only ever gone to the Boulevard twice, and both times it's not been to see a show. I've visited their whole space, I've toured it, I've walked all around it. I haven't actually properly seen a show there. So hopefully this will be my first time actually seeing a show at the Underbelly Boulevard. That's it for concert news this week. Let's move on to our miscellaneous, starting with a good way to get some cheap tickets, and that is through London Theatre Week. This week and next week, because apparently London Theatre Week never understands the meaning of the word week. But that's fine, because we love ticket deals and we get good ticket deals out of it. There are exclusive prices for over 75 shows starting at £15, including some massive West End shows like Hello Dolly, Mean Girls, Lion King, Kiss Me Kate, Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera. There's so many. I'm not going to list them all. We would be here forever. And also, I don't have a list in front of me. And that would be very silly if I tried to list them and I didn't know what the shows were. But this London Theatre Week has already started. It started on the 19th of August, but is still running until the 1st of September. So you've still got some time to grab a good deal. Now, I know this is running on Today Tix. There are multiple other sites that are also running it as well. But if you want to get a good deal on some tickets, take a scroll through Today Tix and grab a good deal. Next up is a news story I want to talk about because this is really, really interesting. Hadestown has teased a UK cast album. Now, this is fantastic news, just beyond anything. Fantastic. The talent of this cast is giant. You can't even express it in words. Oh my god. But the other thing about this is that it's really, really rare to see. The only other musical that I can think of right now that started on Broadway, transferred within a couple of years to the West End and got a new cast album is Kinky Boots. Of course, there's other examples like Heathers, that came over and got a cast album, but the show had been retooled. They weren't transferring directly a production from the States. This is the first time in a very long time that we are seeing a Broadway show get a UK cast album, when the Broadway cast album only came out a couple of years ago. This is unheard of. This has not happened in almost a decade. So I was a little bit oh, we're never going to get it. It's never going to happen. And I'm wrong, and I've never been more happy to be wrong. So I guess we just got to wait and see for this cast album to come out. And finally, in miscellaneous news this week, we have the Stage Debut Awards. They have announced the nominees this year. I will leave a link in the description, if I do my job very well, to the full list of all the nominees. This is an award show that recognises emerging talent within UK theatre. Some of the nominees that you may recognise in the shortlist this time are Jack Wolf, who from Next to Normal. We have Grace Hodgett Young from Sunset Boulevard and Hadestown. We have Laura Dawkes, Will Close, Miles Frost, Lewis McCartney, Ed Larkin. There's so many amazing, talented performers nominated this year, so make sure you scroll through the entire list and also leave a vote or two. There is a category, I think it is Best Debut. I may be wrong with that, but that is a public vote, so make sure you show some support to your favourite debut of the year. And that is it for miscellaneous news. I almost forgot the name. I'm trying to speedrun this so well. I'm doing really well. I'm doing surprisingly well at the moment. This is going to be a breeze to edit. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be fantastic. It's so nice that after last week where I was recapping 3 weeks of news, that I'm doing this and managing to do it in one take. This is unheard of. This is going to be a really short video as well. Oh my god, I'm so used to these being 20-minute eleganzas for the gods. Let's talk about transfers and new productions. First off, we finally found out what is heading to the Criterion next. Now, next week is the closure of Two Strangers Karaoke Across New York, and for ages, we didn't know what was going in there. I was fully expecting them to renovate that theatre, because I was like, there's nothing been announced. Like, what's going to be able to sell tickets within, like, 2 weeks? Like, that is such a short turnaround for a new show to be announced that I was, like, certain that they were going to renovate it. And honestly, sitting in the seats of the Criterion, I kind of wish they had, but that's not what happened. We finally got the announcement of what's coming there, and it's really, really interesting, because it is a transfer from the Edinburgh Fringe. I Wish You Well, the Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial musical, will be transferring to the Criterion Theatre from the 11th of September to the 12th of October 2024. The entire Edinburgh cast will be returning for this West End run, including Diana Vickers as Gwyneth, Mark Antolin as Terry, Tori Allen Martin as Kristen, and Idris Kagbo as Judge Jude. I have seen a lot of people be very angry about this because it's fringe theatre and, like, why do we need a Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial musical, and, like, there's a specific space for this at the Fringe, why is it coming to the West End? I think it's very obvious that this is a gap filler show. This feels like something that has managed to come into this space just because the space happened to be open. And, you know, in that kind of instance, I feel like that is a good kind of place for a show like I Wish You Well to find its way into the West End. I will say, I think that it is an interesting one to bring over because I think we haven't really seen this have as much longevity as I think the teams behind these shows expected it to have. The ski trial has kind of faded from public perception already. It's a trend that is kind of already gone. I kind of don't even remember many of the details about the ski trial, honestly. The only thing, and I don't know if you share this, the only thing I really remember is the I Wish You Well. Like, that's the iconic thing. But this has had a fairly good reception at the Fringe, and, you know, I feel like it's got a good theatre for it. It's got a smaller West End house. It's got a good run, a couple of weeks in there to fill a gap between other shows going into that theatre. I feel like there's a lot here going for it. I'm very intrigued to go and see it and to give it a fair chance, because obviously I've seen shows like this that I have initially taken as, oh, it's a bit of a trend. It's a bit of a thing that's already faded. Why are we making this now? A good example of that being the Wagatha Christie show that I initially misjudged and went, I'm not going to like this, and went in and actually went, actually, that's kind of fun. And they've done a good job at adapting that and kind of finding the right moments within that trial to pull out the drama and to adapt it to stage. So I'm hoping that I will have a similar interaction and similar feelings towards I Wish You Well. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very intrigued to go and see this and to be able to give my full thoughts on this show. I spent a long time on that because I had quite a few interesting thoughts on it. Next up, Darren Brown. Darren Brown, the hit illusionist and mentalist, is set to return to the stage in 2025 with his latest live show, Only Human. This is going to be a massive UK tour starting at the Swan Theatre in High Wycombe on Friday the 4th of April, and continuing to multiple venues including Bromley, Wolverhampton, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Nottingham, Cardiff, Bristol, Oxford, Woking, Norwich, Southend, Milton Keynes, Leeds, Sunderland, Brighton, Bournemouth, Truro and Salford. So if you want to catch a night of magic, you can catch Darren Brown in his show. Then if you're feeling only human, you can only be human if you go and see the Only Human show. Yes. Next up, we have a new show based with the music of David Bowie. This is called, well, very fittingly, The Bowie Show. David Bowie, David Bowie, David Bowie, David Bowie. If I use both, then I will be 50% correct and 50% not correct. So I'm just going to go between both. The Bowie Show is a multi-sensory experience celebrating the life and music of David Bowie. Tour the nation with a night in the West End. The Bowie Show, about David Bowie, will kick off its UK tour at the Hippodrome in Golders Green from the 24th to the 25th of January, following performances at Nottingham Concert Hall at the 27th of January, Buxton Opera House on the 28th of January, Glasgow Pavilion on the 29th of January, Bath Forum on the 1st of February now, Bournemouth Pavilion on the 2nd of February, De Montfort Hall in Leicester on the 3rd of February, Durngate and St Northampton from the 4th of February, and culminating in one night in the West End at the Lyric Theatre on the 10th of February 2025. Oh god, I was doing so well this video and I really struggled there, and I don't have the time to edit that, so you're probably going to see all of my mistakes. Fantastic. So if you want to catch a little bit of David Bowie, you can go and see the Bowie show. Still don't know which one's correct. To be fair, I don't think David Bowie knew which one was correct either. I remember seeing an interview with David Bowie where he was like, I don't know. So if he didn't know, I don't know either. It's all good. And finally, in news this week, we've made it to the end. We're on the other side. There's a light at the end of the tunnel and we are there. And we are getting a new production of The Seagull. We last saw this in London with Jamie Lloyd's production a couple of years ago, and it is back, this time being directed by Thomas Ostermeyer, who is also going to be adapting this script with Duncan Macmillan, who is a fantastic author. If you saw People, Places and Things, if you saw Every Brilliant Thing at the Edinburgh Fringe, both of those shows were written by Duncan Macmillan. He's a fantastic writer, just fantastic work. Honestly, I keep saying the word fantastic, but it's the only word I can give to him because it's just phenomenal, brilliant, genius. There you go. There's some other adjectives for Duncan Macmillan. I love his work. Fantastic writer. They are going to be working on this new version of Anton Chekhov's seminal play, but what's really interesting about this production, which is going to the Barbican Theatre next February for a strictly limited 6-week season, is the cast, because we are seeing the London return of Cate Blanchett. Icon, legend, the moment, now come on now, and she will be joined by the amazing Tom Burke. I am so ready. I am so ready for this. Give it to me right now. I will take it. I want to absorb it. I am so ready for this. Give me it right now. But I can't have it right now because it's not coming to London until next year. So in February 2025, I will be sat in the Barbican watching this show. And hopefully you will be too. And that is all your theatre news this week. What are you most excited for? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me. It helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you would like to drop me a follow over there. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!